You're listening to TurkishSoccer.com's Turkish Football Podcast. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmet Turgut. Welcome to another brand new edition of Turkish Football and Turkish Super League Podcast. Well, let me recap what happened in the Week 11, and we'll also talk about the teams that are playing in the European competitions. We'll preview their matches, and also we'll preview the match coming up this weekend, Week 12. We'll talk about all those matches coming up this weekend too. So stay tuned for those. But let me give you my rants and homily, and I'll give you the results in the Week 11. My rants, I'm going to keep saying this, Turkish referees. Every game in the Turkish Super League, there isn't any match that referees don't mess up in the Turkish Super League. We saw this in many matches this past weekend in the Week 11. So we'll go into details a little bit later on. And also, I will give you this first time in a long time in the Turkish Super League standings. In the first top three, you don't see three of the big teams from Istanbul. Trabzonspor looks like they're opening the gap on top, and look for Hatayspor and Alanyaspor and Konyaspor make a move on top, which they are right now. When we look at the top of the three in the Turkish Super League, we see Trabzonspor, Hatayspor, and Alanyaspor. Just Alanyaspor could have captured the second place if they would have won their match this past weekend. They only earned 1 point against Göztepe. So when we look at these standings, as of now, current standings, the big three from Istanbul playing in European competitions, it's really hurting their morale and their Turkish Super League matches, because they're like a seesaw so far. They're doing good 1 week, and then they go back to lose a match. And probably this weekend, in the Week 11, Galatasaray and Trabzonspor were the lucky ones, because, let's face it, Galatasaray had to win their match this past weekend. They were at the 17 points. A tie wouldn't damage their hope for the title, and they won at home against Gaziantep. So Galatasaray is in this race, but I can tell you right now, Trabzonspor is opening the gap on top. They are with 27 points. The closest one to Trabzonspor right now is the Hatayspor with 23 points. So could Trabzonspor handle this league leader until the end of the season? As you know, this is a long season. They might finish in the first place in the when we go on the winter break, but it's going to be tough for Trabzonspor to maintain this gap on top, because they lost one of their best players, Gervinho. Although he's 34 years old, he was starting to pick up his pace, and which last week he scored a goal. That was his second goal of the season. But without him, Gervinho, Trabzonspor might have a problem in the future. Let's hope that Besiktas and YMF doesn't have any problems as far as injuries. So, after Week 11, let me run down for you the scores. Week 11 started on Friday with Trabzonspor at home facing one of the bottom teams, actually the last team in the Turkish Super League, and they beat Rizespor with the score 2-1. And with this win, Trabzonspor, as I mentioned to you before, They have 27 points, and they're sitting on top of the Turkish Super League very comfortably with 27 points now. On Saturday, there were about 4 matches. Kasımpaşa, Malatyaspor, Kasımpaşa beat Yeni Malatyaspor 2-0. And Kasımpaşa, with this 3-point earning, and at least got a little hope trying to get out from the relegation zone. And Altay, remember I told you Altay was with 15 points and Sivas was with 12 points. And I mentioned this to you. I said this game was going to be most likely was going to be ending with a tie. That's what happened. Altay Sivas tied 1-1, and Sivas and Altay is losing blood. Remember, in the beginning of the season, first 3-4 matches, they were on top of the Turkish Super League, and they're going down. They're in the middle now, but they can't afford losing any more points because I'm going to get to it a little later on. Between the bottom and the mid-level teams, there isn't much point difference between those teams. Also on Saturday, Hatayspor, as I mentioned to you, Besiktas went to Hatay. Hatayspor, the second-place team, beat Besiktas 1-0. And a lot of controversial calls in this match. And referee in this match disallowed one of the Besiktas goals. So Hatay won this match 1-0. And Besiktas before the European match in the Champions League this coming Wednesday. Things are not looking good for Besiktas because in the Champions League, I will get to it a little later, they need to win their match on Wednesday. Also on Saturday, Konyaspor was at home. It's another Istanbul team. Fenerbahçe traveled to Konya, and Konyaspor beat Fenerbahçe 2-1. Fenerbahçe has a lot of problems. Fenerbahçe has coaching problem. I keep saying this. You cannot play with a 3-man defense with this kind of roster that Fenerbahçe has. And a coach Pereira insists playing 3-man defense, and they're not doing good. And also, I don't know what's going on with Mr. Özil. Mr. Özil did not practice with the team after this loss on Monday, and I don't know. I think Ali Koç, the president of the Fenerbahçe team, is already looking for another coach. They will probably replace Fenerbahçe's coach Pereira after that derby match coming up in week 13 against Galatasaray. This match will be in Galatasaray Stadium, and Galatasaray will host Fenerbahçe in the week 13 after the national team break. So things are not looking good for Fenerbahçe. They're still looking at their standing. They're in the 7th place with 19 points. But Konyaspor is on top of Fenerbahçe. They're in the 5th place with 20 points. I'll get to the standings a little later. On Sunday, we had 3 matches. Kayserispor at home beat Fatih Karagümrük 2-1. Alanyaspor, as I mentioned to you, tied at home with Göztepe 2-2. A lot of controversial calls in that match too. And Galatasaray beat Gaziantep on Sunday at home 2-0. And Galatasaray in this match also, there's a lot of controversial call. Actually, one of the goals that Galatasaray scored, it was the talk of the town on Sunday. And it was exactly pretty much same as when the goal that on Saturday, the referee disallowed Besiktas goal. But this time, in this match, the referee gave the goal for Galatasaray. On Monday, there were two important matches because Başakşehir, let's face it, ever since the young man Emre Belözoğlu, who started coaching, First, he tried with Fenerbahce and coached few games there. Now, Emre Belözoğlu with coaching the Başakşehir in their last match. Since he came to Başakşehir, they won their matches. So Başakşehir, remember one time they were in the relegation zone, back-to-back. Emre Belözoğlu won his third match with Başakşehir, and they beat Mario Balotelli's Adana Demirspor 2-1 on Monday. And also in second match on Monday, Giresunspor at home lost to Antalyaspor. And Antalyaspor is coached by Nuri Şahin. As you know, this was the first win for him. Now, after these matches, Trabzonspor sits on top of the week on the Turkish Super League with 27 points. Second place, Hatayspor with 23 points. Third place, Alanyaspor with 21 points. There are three teams. The fourth place, Besiktas. Fifth place, Konyaspor. And sixth place, Galatasaray has 20 points. Seventh place, Fenerbahce with 19. Eighth place, Fatih Karagümrük with 18 points. And ninth place, Altay with 16 points. And look where's Başakşehir. They're in the 10th place with 15 points. That's a huge jump for Başakşehir. Probably Başakşehir is, if you look at the last three matches, they're most well-formed team in the league. Now, in the bottom of the league, last place team, Rizespor with 4 points. 19th place, Giresun with 9. Actually, there are three teams with 9 points. 18th place, Göztepe. And 17th place, Kasımpaşa with all 9 points. And we're looking at there are at least 4 teams with 12 points. These teams are 16th place, Malatya with 12 points. 15th place, Gaziantep. 14th place, Antalya. And 13th place, Sivasspor with all 12 points. And 12th place team, Adana Demirspor, is with 13 points. And 11th place, Kayserispor is with 14th place. I'm going to talk about what's going to happen on Wednesday with the Champions League for Besiktas, and we'll talk about the matches coming up on Thursday for Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. Besiktas will play their match in Lisbon, in Portugal, against Sporting, and they haven't won a match in the Champions League match yet. This season, they have to win this match. If they lose this match, it's pretty much over for Besiktas in the European Champions League. And because, let's face it, in November 3rd, they play, like I said, on Wednesday, they face Sporting in Portugal. On November 24th, Besiktas host Ajax. That will be, if they don't win this match, it's not going to be meaning anything for Besiktas. On Thursday, you have Fenerbahce traveling to Antwerp, and they will face Antwerp there Thursday. And Fenerbahce has 2 points, and Antwerp has 1 point. And Frankfurt with 7 points. Fenerbahce has to win their match too. It's not the case with Galatasaray, though. Galatasaray sits on top of the Group E. They're doing fantastic in the Europa League. Galatasaray with 7 points, Lazio with 4, Marseille with 3, and Moscow, the team that is coming to Galatasaray on Thursday to Istanbul, they have only 1 point. A win for Galatasaray in this match will make them very good position, and they have to win their home games, as I mentioned to you. So we'll get back to you guys after these matches play. But remember, in week 13, the biggest second derby coming up in the Turkish Super League. I will talk about this after Thursday matches. Galatasaray will host Fenerbahce. Very heavy schedule for Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Besiktas. See you next time. Listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. My name is Ahmet Bob Turgut. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.